You are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders 0-16 because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away. Throw it in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So, and also instead of me just like rambling on for like half an hour, if not longer, it's nice just to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first membership level is called the Saquon. The second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, I mean the world to them, and I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed, thank you. And then finally, also in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. The top Facebook link takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants Gridiron. It's a group, and I say this in every video. My YouTube channel, Facebook group, Facebook page, which I'm going to go over in a second here. It's all pretty much called the same thing. It's called like New York Giants and Gridiron. That way I dumb it down for me. That way a moron like me, I can remember. Yeah, it's not like, what's my group called? Is the page called? Something different. The YouTube channel is all called the same thing. It makes it easy for me. That's right. We had a little over 3,900 members. We reached 3,900, I think, was yesterday. So we're climbing. We're growing. We're doing good. And usually what it is usually after I get done going live, I'll spend like the next hour or two, couple hours, like just putting stuff in the group and in the page. And whether it's like a video, sharing an article, showing like a post, a picture, just showing some stats on a player, right? Something that makes fun of the Eagles and the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites, right? I try to get up to like about 10 things or so in every day in there. Sometimes in the off season it's a little difficult, but when the season starts, like in a month or so, man, it's just a ton of stuff that I can share and put in there. And if you become a member, not only do I put stuff in there, but the members put in stuff in there every day. So there's a ton of stuff going into the group, the New York Giants, the Gridiron, every day. And then the second Facebook link takes you to my page. Once again, it's the New York Giants, the Gridiron, but it's the page. I'm the administrator, so I'm the only one who posts in here. What are we at? We're over 1,900 people who like the the page, and we have over 6,300 people who are following. It's really doing marvelous, simply marvelous. But I said it's the same thing. Once I get done going live, I'll spend like close to the next couple hours just putting stuff in the group and in the page. And, I try to get to once again, even in the even in the page, I still try to get, up to like 10 things a day. I try to keep everything pretty even, as even as I can. And I don't commingle the stuff either. So basically, what I put in a group, I don't put in a page. Whatever I put in a page, I don't put in a group. Unless, maybe just unless something makes fun of the Eagles, right? And I just want to share it with everybody. But for the most part, I try to keep everything, separate. That way, if you go up to the page, there's different stuff on there than what's in the group, right? But if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it and you go to the group, you're going to get a ton of New York Giants information every day. And like I say, all the videos, if you like and follow the page, and if you become a member of the group, if you're not 100% satisfied, You get your money back guaranteed. All right, all that stuff said and done and out of the way with. What's up? Hey, Vinny G-Man, haven't seen you in a while there. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing great. What do you think about all of these clowns trashing the Giants still? DJ sucks 20. Yeah, I know. Yep. Well, I mean, the best thing is just go out there and just prove them wrong, right? That's the best thing to do. Yeah, my man Terrence, he comes on and he was saying, I think he said something like Herm Edwards was not overly thrilled with Daniel Jones either. Yeah, so a lot of people. What do we got? Micah Parsons' comments about DJ are great. 27th offensive weapons and Micah Parsons' comments about DJ are great. Now, is that good? He said Micah Parsons actually said good stuff about Daniel Jones. That would be impressive. I mean, just remember, man, we could have had him. We could have had him. Man, could you imagine Micah Parsons on this defense? Woo! Woo! Wow, now we would be talking. I'll tell you what. But yeah, we usually don't get much love, and Daniel Jones doesn't usually get much love from a lot of the Pro Football Network or PFF or any of those guys. So, best thing to do is just go out there and just shut them up, right? So, hopefully, Daniel Jones should have a better season than he did last year. I mean, at least touchdown wise. I mean, if he doesn't throw more than 15 touchdown passes, one or two things. Either one, Houston, we got a problem, or two, he's injured. He missed like half the season. But I mean, if he doesn't throw at least 20, yeah, that's something's wrong. He said he is as good as Jim. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Philly fans are pissed off. Oh, yeah. Oh, I bet they are. Oh, yeah. Well, see, the Philly fans think Jalen Hurts is the greatest quarterback of all time. He had one good season. He's an outstanding, good young talent. Don't get me wrong. But, I said, let's look at, the team. He had, the best offensive line in football. He's got a Hall of Fame right tackle who hasn't given up a sack in about 300 years. He's got a Hall of Fame center. I mean, his offensive line is fantastic. They have some nice rotational piece running backs. I mean, you don't need Jim Brown, Emmitt Smith, or Barry Sanders back there running around. I mean, Jalen Hurts is a very good athlete. He runs the RPO very well. And I mean, and the trade when they got Brown, so now you got DeVonta Smith, right? You got Goddard, who's a very solid tight end. And then you got Brown, the beast from the East. He's just fantastic. Look what he's playing with. My goodness. And plus also, I'm just going by mangames lost.com. I'm going to have a subscription to them this year too coming up. But according to them, they were the fourth least injured team last year. Hurts missed a game, I think, right? That's the one game against the Cowboys. I think he might have missed another game or something. I know Lane Johnson was banged up a little bit or something like that, but they were the fourth least injured team in all of football. Good weapons, best offensive line to me in football. 2 Hall of Famers on there, right? And nobody was injured. You're going to have a pretty good season. So, I bet as I said, a lot of the Eagle fan thinks Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback of all time. So, but we'll see. Got another season coming up here. The best thing to do is just go out there and win and just shut them up. I would love nothing better, especially because I'm down here by Philly. I'm about 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Just can't stand the fans around here. Absolutely can't stand them. But speaking of, this wasn't the Philly fans. This is the Cowboy fans. Good old Plaxico. Has Dak Prescott take on the Cowboys fans? Fans are not feeling Plaxico. Let me tell you what. This is what. This actually was quite a few articles on this. This one I got G-Men HQ. It's fan-sided. Says Plaxico Burress will always be loved by the New York Giants nation thanks to his Super Bowl winning touchdown grab versus Tom Brady. Yeah, if he didn't shoot himself in the leg, we might have actually had back-to-back Super Bowl wins. Right? In 2008, we were the best team in the NFL until he shot himself in the leg, and that kind of our I don't know, our offense took on a whole different look to it, and yeah, we were a different team after that. After he shot himself in the leg, we won the next game against the Redskins because they were the Redskins back then, and then after that, we just kind of we did win a big game against Carolina at home in overtime. What a freaking awesome game that one was. A thriller in the chiller in Manila. That was a fantastic overtime win. But, I mean, we were just didn't seem like the same team without Plaxico in there. It was a shame because, in the 2008, we went on the road and we beat the Cardinals. We went on the road and we beat the Steelers. And who were the two teams that went to the Super Bowl? The Cardinals and the Steelers. We beat them both on the road. Obviously that was when we had Plaxico, but the Giants were the best team in football, especially the first 10 games, whatever it was, of the season. We could have had back-to-back Super Bowl. And we were a really good team. And Michael Strahan retired too that season, so it is what it is. But let's see. The former star Plaxico wideout hasn't forgotten about his former team and the multiple rivalries the Giants have in the NFC East. This includes the Dallas Cowboys, who the G-Men will be hosting come week 1 for what should be a thrilling Sunday night football showdown. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Entering that contest, plenty of attention is going to be on Dak Prescott. Cowboy supporters are dreaming and hoping that this is the year Prescott gets America's team back to the Super Bowl. Well, we'll see. Burris doesn't see that happening. Doesn't see that happening in 23. Matter of fact, he doesn't think that it will ever happen with Prescott running the offense. Plaxico says that the Cowboys can win. Oh, yeah. Definitely they can win, but they're not going to win a championship with Dak there. And this little video here says they can win, but they're not going to win a championship. So Plaxico is calling out Dak. Prescott has a lot of people talking. Cowboys fans are calling out Burris for his take, but let's be real. Prescott hasn't lived up to the hype for his team. I mean, he's played 7 seasons already. Hasn't even gotten past this. Hasn't even gotten to the second round of the playoff, or hasn't gotten out of the second round of the playoffs in 7 seasons. Last season, there was plenty of Super Bowl buzz for the Cowboys ahead of the campaign. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. But another year passed with Dallas watching the big game from home. Prescott helped his squad take down the Tampa Bay takedown. I mean, the Buccaneers were like a shell of themselves last year. They were not a very good team at all. Even they had Tom Brady, they were not a very good team. But the Cowboys' offense looked awful against the San Francisco 49ers in the divisional round. In that loss, Dak tossed for 206 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions in a 19-12 loss. Yeah, those numbers aren't going to cut it. Heading into the 2023 campaign, plenty of analysts think that Daniel Jones will post better numbers this year than Dak Prescott. All right. We agree with that feeling, as expectations are sky high for Danny Dimes now that he's signed his $160 million deal. While we don't think the Giants will be Super Bowl contenders just yet, yeah, I got to agree with that, yeah. We do think Jones will take his game to new heights thanks to the offensive additions who they brought to town. I mean, the offensive line and the offensive weapons. And we have to bring back Saquon as well, too. For Prescott, hey, we wouldn't be surprised to see Dallas make the playoffs, but plenty of people are agreeing with Burris and saying that there's no chance Dallas, led by Prescott, will win it all this winter. Now, I mean, I said, if you look, I mean, he's 2016, right? It's just 2016 to 2022. He's 7 seasons. He's never gotten past the second round of the playoffs. And, come to think of it, I mean, they've really always had decent receivers. I mean, early on, he had Jason Witten. I mean, he's always had, Zeke there. They always had a good offensive line. And Jerry Jones always likes to have his wide receivers. I mean, when he had like Gallup and ABCD Lamb and Amari Cooper, I mean, man, and Schultz, I mean, it was a decent tight end, right? I mean, some nice weapons there. I mean, 2 years ago in 2021, he threw almost 600 passes. He was 11-5. Completed almost 69% of his passes, 37 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Phenomenal season. Fantastic season. And couldn't get past the second round of the playoffs this past season. I mean, they went on the road. They beat the Bucs, who were not a very good team. And then once again, they played the 49ers, who were a good team, who had a good defense. And he passed for 200 yards. I mean, they scored 12 points, right? It was 19. Was it 19-12? I mean, last year, he was he missed some time once again. So, I mean, you look at it too. In 2020, he only played in 5 games, so he missed 11 games. 2021, he missed 1 game. But last year, he missed 5 games. So he's starting to, the first 4 seasons, he didn't miss a game. He played in every game, 64 out of 64. However, what did I say? Well, we got 11, 12. He's missed 17 games over the past 3 years. So basically, over the past 3 years, he's missed 1 full season. So injuries starting to creep up in there. But I mean, if you look at last year, I mean, 23 touchdown passes, 15 interceptions. I mean, wow. Not impressive. Not impressive. 15 interceptions, 23 touchdowns. So, I mean, maybe obviously maybe Plax is right, but, we'll have to wait and see. But, whew. I mean, those are some brutal numbers last year. They were putting up some points, but what's up, Teddy? Dak has 61 wins. That's good. Danny White, 112 wins. Troy, 95 wins. What about Roger? How about Dandy Don? Dandy Don Meredith. How many he have? Who cares with the big game? I've noticed quarterbacks that can't handle the pressure. Romo, yep. Oh, Kyler Murray. I mean, my goodness. I mean, they ought to be just a straight up shame. I mean, honestly, if you have to put, and the guy wanted like top money. I forgot who it was. He wanted like an extra $100,000 a year to be. I forgot who it was. I don't know if it was Lamar. No, it wasn't Lamar. It was somebody. He wanted like more money than like the top guy or something. He wanted like $100,000 more than, this baby stuff. I mean, but if you got to put in his contract that you need to study more and stuff like that, I mean, that's a red flag right there. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, put the big boy pants on. You want big boy money? You got to go out there and earn it. I mean, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, Kyler Murray. What a joke he is. I mean, basically, if you look at like what he started out when he first started, I mean, basically he's had like a Hall of Fame wide receivers. He's trying, Zach Ertz, a good tight end, but Fitzgerald, right? Yeah, D-Hop, right? Spider-Man, just throw the ball anywhere in a zip code. Man just sticks his hand out and comes down with the ball. I mean, Green last year, but he's at his end of his career. But he's always had some good wide receivers to throw the ball to. So what could he do? I mean, if he doesn't have good, what would he do if he had Daniel Jones's weapons? What would he do then? Right? See, Murray, I don't like him at all. But it's like, as I'm saying, like, Lamar Jackson, freakish, phenomenal athlete. But, when we get into the big show, and the thing is with him, and once again, I don't like a lot of running quarterbacks because I don't care who you are. I mean, as time goes by, more hits you get, it's going to take its toll. You might think it's all cute, fine, and fancy the first few years or so, but you keep getting hit, and you keep getting hit, and you keep getting hit, and your career is just going to start going. I mean, Cam was the man, right? The first few years, right in the end zone, looking up at the fans like, I'm Superman. Yeah, well, and after a while, those hits started taking a toll on you, right? And you weren't Superman anymore. You never even came out of the phone booth anymore, right? So, not a big fan of the running quarterbacks. I mean, they could be phenomenal and dynamic and all this stuff and everything for a certain amount of years, but Can you? Because after those injuries beat the living crap out of you, can you stand in the pocket and direct the team down the field because you're so beat up from running the football, right? I mean, you're not going to Lamar. He's not running around like that for 17, 18 years. That's just not happening. You're not getting 200-300 carries a year, whatever he gets, 100, and get beat up year after year after year after year after year. And then it's going to take a toll on you. Somewhere along the line, you're going to have to be relegated to staying in the pocket because you can't run no more because you're so beat up, right? And can you stand in the pocket and direct your team down the field? A lot of those guys can't do that. I mean, I said it's all cute, fine, and fancy the first couple of years. Woo, look at them go, man. These guys are the greatest of all time. And then they just start getting beat up. And, I mean, that's about like with Daniel Jones. I hope they start backing off his carries a little bit. I mean, if he's going to take off maybe on a scramble or something like that. But, I hope his carries go down a little bit, because, I mean, you think it's all cute and fine and fancy now, but they're going to start taking its toll on him. So where we go. What first round quarterback ever won the Super Bowl? What first round quarterback ever won the Super Bowl? Well, there's been a bunch of them, right? I mean, Phil Simms. I mean, there's tons of them. Joe Namath, Troy Aikman. Just Terry Bradshaw won 4 of them. That's a ton of guys. First rounders. But, with Dak, this will be his 8th season. Let's see if they can, let's see if they can get at it. Well, I hope they don't. But, somewhere along the line, Dak's got to, step up or, they're going to have to look for something else because, you're only going to have so many chances. But the other thing I saw, which was nice, good to see, was it seems like Azeez is apparently he's moving around or, looking decently, which is cool. Very happy about that. Let's see. Ojulari's offseason efforts and expectation. Azeez is moving around really well. Offensive line, outside linebacker coach. My bad. Drew Wilkins said last week via the New York Post. He worked really hard in the offseason, and this is important here. We have a really good strength program, really great trainers. He's putting in a great plan, and his areas he can attack things differently. So that's okay, yeah. So last year, Ojulari added on 10 pounds of muscle, okay, which is great, but possibly affecting his lower body. But he has worked relentlessly on enhancing his stamina, okay. But he didn't play a ton last year. But anyway, and incorporating exercises, this is huge, to lessen the risk of those soft tissue injuries. Because, that was the one of the things that wiped them out toward the end of the season. We had the soft tissue injuries. They were just killers. It says the Giants have high hopes for Ojulari in 2023. If he can stay healthy, absolutely. Despite limited game time in the previous season, he managed to register 6 sacks and 20 total pressures in just 6 full game regular season. There was like 5.5 sacks, but whatever, 5.5, 6. Let's see here. He did a lot of things really well last year. He had a great training camp. Obviously, he had to battle through some things. We had the calf. The calf was a killer. That killed him. But when you look at the end of the year stats, we'd love to have him out there a lot more than he was. Really, he had one of the highest sacks per rush. Absolutely. In the league. It's making sure he's out there and he's rolling, because when he is, he can be a problem. Absolutely. But if you look, let's see where we at here. There we go. Let's see. I guess, was it his second season? So his junior season, in college, looked like he played every game. Weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe week 5 he missed, unless they had a bye week that week. I don't know, but 6, 7, 8, maybe he missed week 9. So maybe he missed like 1 or 2 games, maybe. But he played, the championship game and a conference championship game. He played against Baylor in the bowl game. So he played a lot. But you'll notice in 2020 in college, he missed quite a few games. He missed weeks 1 through 3. And he played week 4, 5, 6, 7. He missed week 8, 9, 10. He missed week 11. Man, they played a lot of games. Week 15, then they played the bowl game. Wow. So, I mean, he missed a few games his senior season. And his senior season, I mean, he never played a lot. Senior season, he played 375 total snaps. He graded out at a 90, right? His pass rush was a 91.7. Pretty sweet. So, I mean, he missed some time his senior season. So it says, and now you go to the pros. All right, so 2021, his rookie. I mean, had a very good season. What did he play? 781 snaps. So that's a nice, decent amount. So that's something right around. I mean, the Giants don't, their defense that had a lot more than last year. I'm just saying, had a lot more than 781 snaps. So I'm saying so, but have him on the field for 781's good. That way he's not in there for every snap because you don't want him in there for every snap because get tired and all that. So you want to. That's where I would like to have a third edge rusher, somebody coming off the bench. Right, who's a little bit more reliable, maybe as far as an edge rusher than Hottie or Tolman Fox or Ellison Smith, or Oshane Ximines, one of the, or maybe Baldonado, but we don't. How raw is that guy, right? But if you have a proven third edge rusher, somebody just comes off the bench, right? Bring in the lefty, bring in the left-handed pass rusher, right? If you can bring somebody in off the bench, it would be fantastic to give these guys a little bit of a breather. But his rookie season, 781 snaps. That's right around where you probably want him at. The defense maybe has 1,000 snaps, 1,100 maybe during the season. So he takes a couple hundred, 200-300 snaps off. That's pretty respectable. That's what I'm saying. If you give him 250 snaps off, and then if you give Kayvon, of course, these guys got to stay healthy too. That's huge, obviously. But if you give Azeez 250 snaps off, and you give the other pass rusher, the guy from off the edge, 250 for Kayvon, that's 500, pass rushing snaps. But last year he only played 252 snaps. I mean, but if you think about it, he had what I think it was 5.5 sacks. So basically 200. So he had like 250. Well, he had 155 pass rushing snaps. 155 last year. He had like 5.5 sacks. So basically every 30 pass rushes he got a sack. So basically, if the other team throws the ball 30 or 40 times a game, if he's in there for almost all those pass rushing snaps, he was on pace for about 14.5 sacks last year. I mean, if he wasn't hurt, he would have had double-digit sacks without question. But the problem is, can he stay healthy? He had 200. I mean, a total of 252 snaps he played last year, and it started like right off the bat. He that calf. He injured his calf. I mean, that was a killer. That killed him for a while. I mean, he played weeks 3 and 4. He missed weeks 1 and 2. After week 4, he missed from 4 to week 13. I mean, then week 17 against the Colts, the wild card game against the Vikings, and the Eagle game in the divisional playoffs when we lost. What the hell did he play? He played 29 snaps in those last 3 games. 29. He averaged 10 snaps a game. I mean, oh my goodness, got to stay healthy. But I mean, if he can stay healthy, what do we got? What first run quarterback ever? First running quarterback ever won the Super Bowl. 3 years, Aikman, 6 years. You guys are going off here, man. We got all kinds of stuff. He said he is good as Jaylen. Dak has 61 wins. So hold on, we got this here. AJ Green. Bengals let Lamar Jackson win to inflate his value. Teddy, it's where we want to play Jackson. What first round? Running quarterback. Oh, I thought I said first round. every evening. Oh, DC C3 Pishon. I'll get their name right one of these times. Good evening. Howdy. No quarterback that runs first before he passes you. Oh, yeah. I thought it said what first round quarterback. Oh, yeah, I know. See, you got guys like Mahomes. Mahomes runs around, but he's not a running quarterback. He runs, he does it the smart way. He's running around, right? It's tough to get him. Runs around and he's like got that little Brett Favre kind of thing. Sometimes he's running around. You think you might got him. He's looking this way and he throws the ball that way, or he shovel passes it or stuff like that. He's got that, but nothing's open. He just takes off, maybe runs out of bounds, holds the ball out, tries to get an extra yard or so, runs out of bounds, right? Doesn't take a hit or anything like that, but he's not running. I mean, as I said, you look at Brady, right? He just stands in the pocket, right? Really. Hurts came close last year, but you're right. For the most part, you have to be able to pass the ball. As I said, it's not even so much just, can you stand in the pocket? But it's just if you run a lot, it's gonna wear you down. As I said, you look like Josh Allen. Josh Allen tries to run guys over and stuff like that. That's all fine and fancy now that he's only 5 years, 6 years in, but that stuff's going to start catching up to him. And I don't care how big. I don't care if he's 9 foot tall. That stuff's going to start catching up to him. And, he might be a shell of himself in another 5 or 6 years or so. If that stuff keeps happening to him. As I said, it's all cute and fine and fancy now, but stuff starts wearing on you. It might change your game big time. Joe Flacco. What? What first-round running quarterback? Joe Flacco. He's a statue. My goodness. No quarterback that runs first before as it passes. Yeah. Nope. No. That's why, that's why I'm kind of hoping maybe they can try to take Daniel Jones's snaps and calm it down a little, or his running a little bit, maybe, as I said, if he sees on a scramble, okay. I said maybe once in a while, but if he gets 10 plus runs in a game, I think that's a bit much, unless he's kneeling down at the end of the game, right? The victory, the victory formation, I'm all for that, but I don't like the quarterbacks taking too many hits. Not only that, but how many times they get sacked in a season, right? So there's 40 something right there. But then not only that, but not even sacked. How many times does he get hit? Right? As he's throwing the ball, boom, somebody hits him. He goes flying on the ground. That's a hit, right? So you figure if he gets sacked 45 times, he's in a season, he's probably getting hit another 45 times. So that's 90 times, 100, whatever. He's getting hit, and that's without running the ball. So as I said, time goes by. You can be as good shape as you want, but that stuff's going to start wearing on you after a while. All right, what do we got? The training camp, the dates and times, and a lot of that obviously is open up to the public. That's cool. Giants announced their training camp. This was open. Yeah, they announced this stuff yesterday. Yeah, the Giants have announced that 9 training camp practices will be open to the public in 2023. Awesome, 9. And as well as their 3rd annual Giants Fan Fest. Now let's hope that Marcus McKeithen doesn't wind up hurting himself during the Fan Fest. Right, let's go in there and let's hit when we hit our knees tonight. Let's say a little prayer. Mr. McKeithen stays healthy on the fan fest. That was just a gut punch. You have a wonderful night like that. The fans are in the stadium and the guys are out there practicing, and we were pretty much lost McKeithen for the season. Not so much because, we know he's a Hall of Famer or we know he's an All-Pro, but he lost his whole rookie season. You don't even get a chance to see what he can be. But not only so much that, but the snaps he can get is just invaluable. Because, with the injuries we had maybe on the offensive line or whatever, he was probably going to get some additional snaps in there during the season if he could have stayed healthy. So just a shame. Let's just hope he comes back and he stays healthy. It's just like to see what the guy can do. Right. Let's see. That is down. There was actually, apparently, I forgot there was 11 open practices last year, so they're down to 9. The Fan Fest will be held on Thursday, August 24th at MetLife Stadium, and will feature fireworks under the stars. Cool. And a movie screening. Okay. Gates open at 6 o'clock p.m. The movie screening will be at 7, and the fireworks will be at 9. Got a whole hell of a lot going on there that night. Most open practice will include opportunities for autographs from current players, meet and greets with Giants alumni and Giants Kid Zone, and daily giveaways for those in attendance. Any practice marked with an asterisk denotes a post-practice high five line with the players. There will be no autographs from current players available on those days. The full list of training camp dates open to the public are as follows. So they got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the 26th, 27th, 28th. Then they got Sunday, July 30th, open practice and back together weekend. All right. Then they got Monday, July 31st, and August 1st, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. All right, and then they have, then there's the Fan Fest. Then there's the Thursday, August 24th at 6 p.m. Giants Fan Fest presented by Wendy's. You gotta love it. Although entry, this is important here too. Entry on these dates is free. Fans are required to have a ticket, so make sure you get a ticket. For more information on how to obtain a said ticket, visit the Giants official website. So if you're going to go, make sure you have a ticket with you. All dates and times are subject to change. In event of poor weather, Giants practice will be moved indoors and subsequently closed to the public. So it is what it is. But at least they're going to have some. But I forgot there was actually 11 practices open to the public last year. They're down to 9. But it is what it is. Can't wait for the practice to start anyway. That's good. Only got was it like the 25th or what the. Let's see. Well, that's the whole. Let's see here. The first one that's open to the public. Oh, it's July 26th. Okay. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they have to come in the 25th. I might be just the rookies or something, but I think that they'll be in there the 25th. So what's today's the 28th. So we got 20. I got about 4 weeks. Holy cow. About 4 weeks. 4, down to 4. So that's fantastic. Gotta love it. And then finally, this was something. I heard this on Big Blue Kickoff Live. I heard this. I've heard Howard Cross say this a couple times on Big Blue Kickoff Live. They have like a daily, like a podcast, and they put the podcast on YouTube. Now, I think next week they're off the whole week, so they won't have any podcasts or nothing. But they still put something out. There's Paul Dottino, Lance Meadows, who's the other guy? John Schmelk, and Howard Cross is there. Oh God, and what's his name? The linebacker. Great man, his name's escaping me. But he really, really, really does a great job. Oh, starts with the C. He's a linebacker. What was his name? It's killing me. But anyway, Howard Cross has mentioned this on multiple occasions, as far as bring his take on why the guys get injured as much as they do, especially early on in the season and all. And has a lot to do with what he thinks. And, so a lot of it makes sense to me, is that because there's no contact. So it's kind of like counterproductive. It's like, so we're supposed to, what? what you talking about, Wills? So you mean it? So if we have more contact, we're going to get less injuries. Huh? Wait, run that by me again. Well, Howard Cross, I'm sure there's probably others, but, your body's got to get used to that kind of stuff. And putting guys in bubble wrap and then kind of like letting them go for the regular season, you kind of ask them for some trouble. And it's kind of bad because like in mini camp and all in OTAs, like you hear things like if a cornerback and a wide receiver, all right, it's just they're calling a play and just say the cornerback starts maybe he's not supposed to touch the wide receiver. He's supposed to run stride by stride with him and all, and try to defend him as best he can. But or sometimes if there's some contact, some guys, some of the veterans have called the league up or the players union or whatever and said, we got some contact going on out here. This is OTAs. I mean, there's no contact going on. What's going on? So that people call. so that's a no. But I mean, what Howard Cross seems to think is that you got to prepare your body for the rigors of the NFL season by having contact. And I mean, it's to the point where, I mean, do the guys get enough contact before the regular season starts? I mean, I said, and I mean, in no way, shape, or form am I ever going to ever try to pretend that I was any type of a decent football player, because I started losing interest. I enjoyed playing football in the street, maybe throwing a football and whatever like that, having catch and stuff like that. But it just wasn't a lot of fun to me. And so I started losing interest. I played 3 seasons in high school. My senior year, I never played. It just wasn't fun anymore. But when we played before the season started, we used to have, we used to have 3 days, hitting 3 days, right? We would get there at 8:00 in the morning, and we get there maybe 7:30, and by 8:00 in the morning, you have to be on the field. So we were on the field from about 8 to 10:30, somewhere around there. We would go in, maybe have about an hour off. You have lunch, and by like 11:30 or so, you're back on the field. So from maybe 11:30 to 2, you're on the field, running drills, hitting each other, hitting a sled, doing all kinds of stuff. But every time you're out there, you're hitting each other, hitting. Then we would go home. I would go home, and I'd be beat up. I'd go home, I'd take a nap, maybe eat some dinner or something like that. And by 6:00, you'd have to be back out there again. And you'd be out there from 6:00 until it got dark, around 8:30. And we did that for 2 weeks, 3 days. I think Sundays, maybe we were off on Sundays, maybe. But a lot of that was also because we had a lot of guys show up for the team, and a lot of it was just to kind of weed out who really wasn't interested. The guys showing up a couple of days, and you're like, man, this is tough. I just wanted to play football. That's all I want. So that prevented or stopped some guys from trying to make the team, because it was just like a little too rigorous for them. But I mean, for the first 2 weeks, that's all we did. We just hit each other, hit. And and I don't ever remember. I mean, maybe somebody like fell on a pile, and maybe somebody broke their arm or broke a leg or something just from the pile or something like that. But I mean, I don't. And we played on grass. We didn't have artificial fields like they do nowadays in high school and stuff like that. But I don't ever remember, ever. And these guys, athletes, have the best of the best, right? I mean, after some of the guys at night might be out there drinking beer in high school and stuff like that, and smoking pot and not eating the best and all that stuff. I mean, these guys got the pros got the best of the workout, the training that they have is nothing but the best of the weights that they can work with, the machines and all that stuff, and the trainers, nothing but the best of the best of the best. The food that they can consume, everything is absolutely fantastic, right? We had none of that in high school, absolutely none of that. And I don't ever remember somebody lining up. I mean, like Sterling Shepard did. As I said, once again, the MetLife's supposed to be like the field of death. Well, I get that, okay? But there's a lot of other fields out there that have turf, and you don't get a lot of those injuries. So I don't know if it's the MetLife turf. I don't know. But I mean, when we played, on grass, I don't ever remember, ever, guy running a route, running like 2-3 steps, and boom, he's down. He's out. Wait, what? You all right? What's going on? What you cramp up? Oh no, my ACL. I just popped. My season's over. Ever remember that? Nothing like that. I mean, maybe guys might get a pulled hamstring or something like that. A pulled muscle or something. Obviously, you're going to get bumps and bruises and stuff from just beating each other up and running into each other. But I ever remember anything like that. I mean, pretty much whoever you started the season with is pretty much who you ended the season with. I mean, as I said, you might have had maybe a couple, maybe 50 guys on the roster. You might have maybe a couple of them, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 at the most, who maybe injured, throughout the whole season. But I mean, losing a guy for a whole season, I don't know, maybe once or something. I mean, nothing compared to what it is. I mean, you start thinking about it. It's like these guys are like the best of the best. The athletic, the training they get, the food they get, the facilities that they have, the best of the best. They're making some of them millions of dollars. They can afford, I mean, some of them got to go to chiropractors every day, and they got the hot tub and this and that. They got all of that stuff, and they run out on the field. Boom! What happened? Oh, my ACL. I'm gone for the year. What? What are you talking about? I mean, there might be a little truth to what Howard Cross is saying. I think and it kind of goes both ways, right? Maybe what Howard Cross is talking about makes some sense. We might need some, you got to get your body acclimated, right? I think that's how I say the word, to hitting before you go out there and start getting hitting. The problem is now, because it's all about everything's about the Benjamin, right? So now the season's 17 games, and I think I keep hearing that you're going to try to make it 18 games long. I mean, you want to get the hitting in to prepare them for the season, but then what are we going to make the season like 300 games long? I mean, so in a way, it makes what he's saying makes a lot of sense, and just the stuff that I've seen, guys just running around and boom, they're out for the season. What are you talking? Maybe we should start taking some of the bubble wrap off some of these guys and start getting them to. I mean, because with Parcells, they used to do 2-a-days, and they were hitting to prepare for the season, right? I mean, the more bubble wrap you're putting on these guys now, the worse you're probably making it during the regular season. So you might need to, might start need to rethinking some of that. But also, the one thing that makes that counterproductive is that if you're making the season 18 games long, like we might apparently in the next couple of years, that's a lot of 18 weeks of a guy getting beat on. I mean, that's I think it's a lot of games. That's too many games for me. I mean, if you're going to play 18 regular season games and say you play possibly 3 playoff games, like if you win the wild card, win a divisional round, win the championship, then you go to the Super Bowl, it's another 4. You're going to play 22 football games, and that's not to mention, if you're going to play in preseason or not, 22 games. I mean, there's only, 52 weeks in a season? So half of that would be 26 weeks. So you could be, in a couple years, if we're playing 18 games, and you got to go to playoffs in the Super Bowl, that's 22. You're almost, and then if you say you play maybe one of the preseason games, just saying, it's like 23 weeks. I mean, come on, how many weeks? I mean, the one thing the more it's about that, the less I like it. And of course, the 18 weeks is all about that. And unfortunately, the guys, I don't think they're getting compensated enough for that. I mean, to put their lives on the line for 18 weeks plus if they make the playoffs. I mean, if you say you make it to like what the Giants did last year, go to the second round of the playoffs, you play 18 games, make it to the second round, it's 20 games. 20 games, not to mention preseason. Too many. For me, that's just too many. I don't know. It's just too many. But what Howard Cross said, and I've heard it from at least one other person too as well, is that, sometimes you might have to take some of the bubble wrap off these guys and let them get some hitting in before the regular season starts. I know we got, they got the training camp is like 2 weeks, then you got the preseason and all that, but, I don't know. I think you might need a little more contact maybe to get these guys better prepared for the season. So, but it's been 50 minutes. Vinny, you ever notice that the teams that are the best, the least hurt go very far in the year? Well, yeah, I mean, your opinion on Jalen Hyatt, man, are we praying? Well, if you look, the Eagles were the fourth least injured team last year. I don't think the Chiefs weren't too badly hurt either. And it just to go to show you, the Jacksonville Jaguars were by far, according to mangameslost.com, by far the least injured team last year. They won their division. Who was in second place? The Tennessee Titans. And what were the Tennessee Titans? By far the most injured team in the NFL. That's the reason why Jacksonville won the division, Tennessee lost the division. I mean, it was like Tennessee was number one as far as most, and Jacksonville was number 32. I mean, it was like 250 man games difference, or maybe it might have been 300 games lost due to injury. I mean, injuries will kill you. And I said, I mean, look at what happened with the Chiefs when they played the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. It was the Chiefs. I think it was the two tackles they were missing because they were injured. Or there was like at least one tackle and another offensive lineman or something like that. Mahomes is running around for his life, right? Because injuries. They scored 3 field goals. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs, with all that firepower, scored 3 field goals. I mean, the Buccaneers had a decent defense. There wasn't the greatest. There wasn't the '85 Bears. It wasn't the 2000 Ravens. I can tell you that much. They had a nice defense, but to hold the Chiefs to no touchdowns, yeah. I mean, injuries. Nothing can derail your season faster than injuries. I mean, especially the key players. And I said, look what happened with the Eagles last year. Right? They were the 4th least injured team. I mean, you look at their roster, and especially like the defensive line and all of that. They certain spots. They got some good depth. You knock out DeVonta Smith and you knock out AJ Brown. Their wide receiver depth, a little thin. You knock out Darius Slayton. You knock out James Bradberry. Their cornerback depth, a little thin. So I mean, they're rolling the dice because they're bringing in all these guys. They're paying a lot of guys all this money and all. Some of them are like their defensive line. They got some good depth and maybe edge and all that. But some of the positions they got like no depth. So if they start getting, I mean, as I said, last year they had like nobody injured. So when you got a nice starting core guys like the Eagles, without question, what a team they had last year. Defense, offense, solid. But when nobody gets hurt, man, you're looking good, But I'll tell you what, you knock out half of those starters, put them on the injured reserve, and everybody, you have second and third stringers in there. Let's see how far the Eagles would have gone last year. May not have gone too far. But then once again, they roll the dice. They get all these stars in there and everything. And, as long as everybody stays healthy, they look pretty good. But if injuries start creeping in, even the Eagles will, I said, some of the positions they got are very thin as far as depth. But as I said, I mean, nothing's going to derail a season faster than injuries. And sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, right? Somebody gets injured, maybe you bring somebody in to take his place, and somebody else gets injured, and then you have a bye week, and your starting safety is out in Cavo or whatever it is, riding on a ATV or whatever it is or something, falls over and winds up breaking his hand and stuff. Stuff happens. I think the Giants got 900 receivers because 5 will be hurt. Well, hey, that's right. Well, see, you also got to think too is like, what? I think because Sterling Shepard, he's trying to get back by the beginning of the season. Now the thing is if he starts on PUP, the thing is with that, I think you got to miss the first 6 weeks if you start on PUP. Same thing with Wan'Dale Robinson. He might start on PUP. But the thing is with Sterling Shepard, now if he I've seen videos out there where he's cutting, running, stopping and cutting, catching the ball. And this was a couple of weeks ago. So I mean, if we got another month, 2 months before the beginning of the season, who knows? Now, the interesting thing would be like if he's ready or close to being ready when the season starts, they can, instead of putting him on PUP and he has to take off the first 6 weeks, they might, do they think about, well, we'll put him on the active roster and he'll just miss the first week because you have 53 in the active roster, but you only bring, I think, 46 to the game. So you got some guys that are inactive, right? So, I mean, they could put him on a 53, make him inactive for a week, and then maybe start playing him in week 2. I mean, that's something to think about too. But I mean, that's going to be one of those big, interesting things to see during the training camp. Who makes the team, who goes to the practice squad, what happens with Wan'Dale and Sterling, and who doesn't make the team. Because we got so many guys. And you're only going to have maybe 2 on the practice squad because Bryce Ford Wheaton's going to be one of them. I'd have a hard time believing he's actually going to make the team starting 53. I mean, they paid him, as an undrafted free agent, was like $250,000 or something like that, I think it was. So they're going to try to get him on the practice squad, probably. I don't think he's going to make the team, the starting 53. But I'm saying, but if he's on there, that's one wide receiver. I mean, you can't keep 5 wide receivers on the practice squad, because you got all those other positions. Maybe we keep 2 on the practice squad, maybe. But that's going to be very, very, very interesting battle. But as I said, some of the stuff you don't know. Will Wan'Dale and will Sterling be ready? That you don't know. PUP list, the Giants will have a dog pound. It's every single year. Yep, I know. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable every year. It's like, can we? Yeah. And the same thing is when we had like the mini camp and all of that. There was a bunch of guys who were recovering from like off-season procedures, like Ashawn Robinson. I think I heard Patricia Chainer said like he might have had I don't know if he had a procedure with his meniscus, which is like I think the ACL is on the side of the knee. The meniscus is in the front of the knee, connects the two bones together in the middle. But I mean, there's a bunch. Aaron Robinson, bunch of McKeithen, Zudu, Wan'Dale Robinson, Sterling Shepard. There's a bunch of guys. Ellerson Smith, trying to come back and all. So there's a bunch of guys. On the side. But the one nice thing was at least for the most part, we got past the OTAs and the mini camp and all that. And you didn't get something like, so-and-so was seeing, he went up for a pass, he came down and he stayed on the ground for the next 28 minutes and he had to be carted off. And man, it sounded like a big snap in here. He was yelling, screaming. He was in a lot of pain. Doesn't sound too good for so-and-so. You didn't hear any of that. So that's good. So hopefully we get to training camp without anybody wiping their season out. But it's something I can't even talk about. So it's just unbelievably frustrating, It really is. Yeah, every year the PUP list. But we had a lot of guys injured last year. And with the coaching staff that we have, all right, the good, we were able to bring in other guys, get them prepared enough to go out there and perform at a decent level. Not that we were, they were going to be Hall of Famers or nothing, but we brought in other guys from wherever because guys were injured, and with the coaching staff as good as they were, they got at least up to speed where they could at least play. So I mean, at least we got that going for us. Hopefully we don't need that, but that is it's just. And the thing is because it's the season, right? Because it's building. You're all excited for the season. Yeah, here we go, baby. This is we had a winning record last year. We won a playoff game. Hopefully we can get back to the playoffs. You're all excited about this. Maybe we'll beat the Cowboys once a year. All excited, all that. And all of a sudden, like every day, another guy gets, this so-and-so's out for the season. This guy lost, he's out for the season. This guy broke his leg, he's out for the season. This, that, you get the draft and the free agency and all the training camp, all you bringing his wide receivers, all this and everything, and then like 5 or 10 guys get lost for the season. It's like, oh man, that's horrible. All right, man, I'll tell you what, I think it's my first time I made it a whole hour. Oh my God. Well, all right, we got Vinny G-Man, D3, C3, P-Shun. We got Teddy. Wait on, gotta see if Terrence. Boom, nope. All right, so you guys, thank you. Great talking to you guys, as always. And I actually had my first hour-long video, 1 hour and 1 minute. All right. So whoever spent any time listening to me shoot my mouth off for a whole hour, thank you. If anybody's going to watch any to replay this, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. So you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah. Oh,